y'all. Happy Monday. It is like 10 minutes after 11 on a Monday, on a gray Monday, on a rainy Monday. Hopefully everybody is doing good. Everybody is doing fine. Everybody is doing great. I'm just popping in for a moment as here we go. I promised God that I was going to do 7 lives in October. This is the third one. I got until Sunday to get the rest of them done. So give me 1 second, really quick. I don't know. No. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. So just give me a second and just join me very quickly as I encourage, inspire, motivate in only a way that God can allow me to do. Today's pop-up is called Your Eyesight. I listed it as Your Eyesight is how I named it. And if you have been paying attention, then anytime I just say something to you guys, before I just say it, I try to come from word. I try to show you that I'm not just talking off the top of my head because it sounds good, because it look good, because it feel good, because I need cheerleaders on the side. I am only an extension of God's love. That is only thing that I am. I show up to encourage, to motivate. I am on my assignment. I understand it. So that's why we're here today. So you can come back to this part later. If you can remember it now, if you can write it down right now, great. If not, but take note of this. Psalms 16:8, it says, I have set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be shaken. So today, I put in my eyesight. I want to encourage somebody in this season, or whatever it is that you may be going through, walking through, looking at. You have to make a conscious decision. It is not easy. If it was easy, then everybody would be able to do it. But you always got to have 2 feet planted on solid ground to understand no matter what it may look like. I can't focus on what I see. I have to focus on what I know. I did not make that up. The word simply says that. I have set the Lord always before me. So just imagine if you're going through a situation, and we all go through things. We all go through hardship. We all go through blows. But just imagine that if you were going through a situation and you felt lonely. There's nobody in a world full of people and you feel lonely. There is nobody that you can talk to. And the reason that you feel lonely is because either it's not safe to talk to somebody, or sometimes we need to vent and it's not a safe place to even vent, or nobody even wants to acknowledge that you are even in the room. So you just kind of feel lonely. And that loneliness can activate into some depression. But just imagine, instead of sitting in, I feel lonely. And then you begin to put your eyes on God. And then God shows you, in fact, that you're not alone, that I'm right here with you. In fact, the reason that you're in this space where nobody can touch you right now is because there are some things I need to say to you. And if you wasn't in this silent place, you wouldn't be able to receive it in such a way that I need to be able to say it to you. It's not what you go through in life, it's how you go through it in life. And if you got to go through something in life, it's best to go through it in such a way of where it's going to grow you. And the way that anything in life grows you is by you keeping your eyes fixed on God. No matter what may be presented to you in the storms and or whatever that may be reflecting at that moment. But if you can just try to, I don't have to have it all figured out, but I got to find a way of seeing God in this. Being human, you're going to go through things where it make you feel afraid. This is uncomfortable. Being called out of my comfort zone is afraid. Going through losing a loved one when you've been attached to somebody all of your life. That's scary to go through that. But then when you realize that fear is not God. So if I'm going through this and God is with me and I know that fear is not God, I got to step out of that comfort of being afraid. I got to be able to look at something else other than fear. So I'm going through this because it's going to build me. I'm going through this because it's going to structure me. I'm going through this because wisdom is defined inside of this. As long as you look at it differently and you're able to see God in it, your eyesight, you can pull something else out of it. You know, the funny thing is we look at people that do not have eyesight, that are blind, and we look at it as them having a handicap. But in reality, they are one up from us. We that have eyesight have to train ourselves not to look at what we see, but a person without eyesight, they already have an advantage of it doesn't even matter what is in front of me. I am focusing on what I know. I got to go to a deeper skill, deeper than what I can actually see. They already have that equipment, but just imagine that you are someone that always get thrown off course because of what the enemy shows you. Only thing the enemy got to show you is confusion. Only thing the enemy got to show you is somebody walking out on you. Only thing the enemy got to show you is that your kids are acting a fool. Only thing the enemy got to show you is you being fired at your job. The only thing the enemy got to do is show you something that make you question where you're at in your journey. But the minute that you train yourself, I cannot focus on what I see. I got to focus on what I know, and what I know that if God allowed it, then God can use it. If I was fired from that job, as easily as a door closes, another door open, you are able to look at it that if they didn't put me out that job, I would have still been there. If they did not put me out of that job, I wouldn't have understood that it was 6+ figures waiting for me. If they did not put me out of that job, I wouldn't have been able to understand that there was another circle of friendship that I needed to go through. But if you stay focused on what you see, instead of going deeper in what it is that you know, see, God is deeper than the surface. The enemy is surface driven. What you can touch, all of those things that the enemy shows you those things. And we live in a world that is fixated on what they see, what they can touch, what the next person may cheerlead about. But when you are one that goes deeper, that means that everything it is that I'm doing or sitting in or getting over is gonna seem crazy to everybody else. How can you have a anyhow praise? We hear people talk about it all the time. I'm going to praise God anyhow. What does an anyhow praise mean? What does that actually mean? Because we say it until we have to go through it. We talk about it anyhow praise until we got to bury a child. We talk about it anyhow praise until you cannot pay your bills. We talk about it anyhow praise until you have to go through a divorce. But an anyhow praise means I'm going to praise God anyhow. No matter what it may look like as of right now, I know that there is purpose behind my name. I know that there is victory at the ending of my story. So just because God have not delivered to me the finish line, I have an anyhow praise. Your eyesight. You have to get in alignment with understanding that this of what I'm looking at does not define where God is taking me. If I'm looking at this or if I'm experiencing this, how can this build me? How can this grow me? What is inside of this? But the amazing thing about your eyesight is it's just that it is your eyesight. It's nobody else's responsibility, no matter how long you have been riding on your mother's coattail or your grandmother's prayers, because the reality is a lot of us are where we're at right now because somebody prayed for us. Somebody took the time to pray for you. So that's why you're where you're at right now in your life. But just imagine that it's time for you to have to figure out your eyesight on your own. You got to be able to figure out how to get yourself through it. You got to be able to figure out that there's somebody else watching me, believe it or not. Where you've been doesn't always define you. It's where you're going, and somebody is watching you to get through it. Somebody is waiting on you to change direction. Somebody is waiting on your shift, but you are looking out of those eyes. There are calls now that I no longer take because people that I was connected to people that only looked out of their eyes. I couldn't encourage them past anything else. I can't pray them through. I can't hold their hand because only thing that come out of their mouth is negativity. Yeah, Mika, I know God, but I don't serve a God with a but. Only thing I need somebody to do is encourage me to wait, encourage me to be patient, to tell me to lean on God for my strength. I don't put a but with God. Your eyesight has a lot to do with your harvest. You can't even get to where God is calling you to go because your right now got you stuck. Your right now pain, your right now heartbreak, your right now the grieving that you're going through, the right now has you stuck that you can't even go beyond it. God said it doesn't even have to make sense. I'm asking you to do something where everybody around you is just stuck with their mouth open. I don't even understand how this person is praising God anyhow. That's what an anyhow praise looks like. It's easy to say it. We can all talk about how good God is when we ain't going through nothing. We can all talk about how great God is and we've been born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But wait till you go through something. And you're in a world full of people, but there's nobody that you can take your stuff to in the flesh. There's nobody that you can trust. God, why am I sitting in this space? And then you are able to get promoted or advanced in a spiritual realm of where you understand that it never was about what I was looking at. It's where God was trying to take me deeper. So I just want to encourage somebody in this season, wherever you're at in this season, if you're stuck, if you're walking with your head down, if you're feeling like you're not qualified, if your season seems unfair, I just want to encourage you that no matter what it may look like, always put God before you. And when you put God before you, no matter what you may go through, you cannot be shaken. Don't mean that you won't cry, but the tears that you cry will cleanse you. Don't mean that you may not fall weak, but there's another definition to weakness, which is strength. So those things do not define you. So put God before you. Keep your eyes on God, no matter what you're traveling through, because we're all going through a journey. We're all traveling through a journey. I personally show up to encourage and motivate people and inspire. I now understand that I am not for everybody, but the reality is that I am for somebody. There is somebody that's going to stumble upon this live and say, I need to take my eyes off of what it is that I'm going through. I was walking around with my head down, but now I just needed somebody to tell me and encourage me that there is greater than this after this. That God is in the midst of this. So as I'm wrapping up on this Monday, on this beautiful Monday, no matter how dreary it may seem outside, I stand on the reality of that this is a Monday that many people did not rise to see. This is a Monday where people rose and that they are not in their right mind. This is a Monday where somebody is standing in a space feeling all alone, and that is not my story. And for a lot of you, that is not your story. So in spite of everything else, I still give God all of the praise for this day. I pause on today just to encourage and inspire somebody. I ask that you just do me one little simple favor, because we live in a world that lacks love. So I ask that you take that light that you carry inside of yourself and take it out into the world. Love on somebody. But before you dart that door and you love on anybody, you first stop, pause, and you love on yourself. You love on yourself in such a way that you understand that you appreciate yourself for going the extra mile when you could have thrown in the towel. Love on yourself differently in this season. My prayer is every time that you see my face or you hear my voice, that you understand that there is somebody out here that loves you. But as much as I love you, the reality is that I serve a God that loves you so much more. I serve a God that is so intentional that God places me on pause in the 11 o'clock hour on a Monday just to love on somebody, just to be an extension of God's love and kindness. I give God all of the credit. I take zero credit for that. So as I'm signing out again, your eyesight, keep your eyes focused on God. Practice. Feed your spirit. God is not asking for you to perfect it the first time you try it. It is hard to trust God. It is hard to see God in it. It is hard to stay positive. It is hard to count it all joy. It is hard to tell God that I need to be strengthened. It is hard. But if you try it, and you try it again, and you try it again, and you try it again, it would then become normal. A part of your daily dose to place God before everything it is that you do. It's your eyesight. Get in alignment with your eyesight and count it all joy. I love you so much, brothers and sisters. Have a fantastic Monday. Go out and love somebody, but first stop and love on yourself. Have a great day.